Jimin and Jungkook caught on camera together at a restaurant. Reunion after military or secret project? Did Jungkook just soft launch a comeback? Over dinner, a single blurry photo. A restaurant window. Two silhouettes, heads close, smiles hidden. And just like that, the internet stopped breathing. The viral image that exploded across X and Weverse today is reportedly none other than BTS's Jimin and Jungkook, sitting together at a quiet, softly lit restaurant in Seoul, marking what fans are calling the first real public reunion of the duo since completing their military service. But it's not just dinner that has ARMY trembling. It's what this quiet dinner might mean, after months of speculation, emotional distance, split routes, and even that now infamous lyric leak. This image, raw, unposed, and undeniably intimate, has thrown fuel on theories that something big is coming, something involving just the two of them, and suddenly, everyone's asking the same question. Is this more than just a meal? Are Jimin and Jungkook planning a duet? Let's break down what actually happened. Around 7:50 p.m. Korea Standard Time last night, a user on a private fan cafe posted a single low-resolution photo of what appeared to be Jimin and Jungkook at a quiet traditional Korean restaurant in the Mapo area. The uploader claimed they were working part-time at the location when two polite, soft-spoken men walked in wearing baseball caps and masks, but as soon as one of them pulled his cap back and revealed Jimin's unmistakable smile, the staff knew. And the other man? Tall, long hair tied back loosely, soft hoodie, earrings glinting in the low light. It was Jungkook. The uploader claimed the two stayed for nearly 2 hours, speaking softly, laughing occasionally, and, according to one source, even humming something quietly toward the end of the meal. And that was the detail that sent fans into a frenzy. Were they practicing? Discussing music? Reconnecting? Planning something? The real twist came not from the image itself, but from what fans found just minutes later. Both Jimin and Jungkook's Spotify profiles showed low activity spikes, small signs that they'd both been active in the past 24 hours, but with no posts or announcements. Coincidence? Or coordination? That silence has made the reunion feel even louder. And to make things even more emotionally charged, one fan pointed out that this restaurant, tucked in a side street near the Han River, is the same location Jungkook mentioned in a 2022 interview as his comfort spot when needing to talk things out with close friends. The timing couldn't be more poetic or suspicious. Just days ago, fans were drowning in emotional speculation over an unreleased song allegedly written by Jimin and Jungkook before their enlistment, titled "Leave No Light Behind." The rumored lyrics hinted at separation, longing, and a deep bond unbroken by time. And now, as if summoned by those very words, the two are quietly, maybe even nervously, back in each other's orbit. So why now? Why here? Why together? And most of all, why in public? Jimin, known for his warmth but also his calculated discretion, has been largely silent since his discharge, only posting minimal updates. Jungkook, on the other hand, disappeared from the radar almost entirely, until this moment. This sudden reappearance, unannounced and unshielded by staff, feels intentional. Or, at the very least, symbolic. This their way of letting us know, we're back. And we're together. Whispers of a possible duet release have begun circling through fan translator channels and private discords. One source claiming to be a HYB intern, anonymous and unverified as always, wrote in a now-deleted post, "You didn't hear it from me, but a Jungkook demo file is sitting in a folder dated May 2023. And it's labeled Last Before Service." If that's true, then this dinner may not be the start of something new. It could be the reopening of something they left behind. Something unfinished. Something waiting. And fans are feeling everything on social media. ARMY's reactions range from celebratory to heartbroken. Some see it as healing. Others see it as a soft launch of a musical rebirth. A few simply cried at the fact that, after so much silence, Jimin and Jungkook were finally back in the same frame. Not on a stage, not through a leak, but in real life, together, quiet, and bodyguards. No entourage, just them. And maybe that's the part that hits hardest. Because this wasn't a concert, it wasn't a live stream or a pre-planned press moment. It was dinner. Two people, once inseparable, perhaps still finding their way back. perhaps already found. And yet, behind the calm smiles and clinking chopsticks, there may be a new harmony forming. One that could shake the fandom all over again. Not with fanfare, but with feeling. Will we get a duet? No one knows yet. But if this dinner was their way of telling the world they're working on something, even if it's just their bond, then the wait will be worth it. Because in a world that always demands announcements, sometimes the biggest news comes in the quietest moment, like two voices whispering a melody in a restaurant no one expected, and all of us listening, even from behind the glass. And now, as the photo continues to circulate, analyzed and re-edited 1,000 times by fans eager to extract any hidden signal or confirmation, one question pulses through every caption, every post, every breath of digital speculation. Was this accidental or intentional? It's because Jimin and Jungkook, to millions, aren't just ordinary celebrities grabbing a bite to eat. They're two of the most watched, emotionally invested in artists in the world. Every glance, every gesture, every shared moment holds weight. And for them to meet in public so soon after a widely discussed emotional distance post-military is like lighting a match in a room soaked with gasoline, and it burns in the most beautiful way. Fans have pointed out another poignant detail. Neither of them has acknowledged the dinner publicly. Not a story. Not a round pushpin dinner with a friend. Not even a cryptic emoji post. This silence only feeds the theory that the reunion wasn't for press, but for healing, a private reconnection that just so happened to be captured. Or was it? One tweet that gained over 200K likes in 4-hour states. You don't go to that restaurant if you want to stay hidden. That's a known ARMY landmark. They knew. So maybe it wasn't a slip. Maybe it was a message that no matter what came before, missed mentions, separate rides home, unread letters, heavy silences, they're still willing to sit at the same table. But as the fandom rejoices over this reunion, there's a deeper ache lingering beneath the excitement. Will this dinner lead to something more? Or was this their quiet ending, wrapped in one final shared meal? Because for many ARMY, the dream isn't just a duet, it's closure, it's clarity, it's knowing that after all they've been through, both publicly and privately, Jimin and Jungkook can still find their way back to each other, whether through music or simply over kimchi and soju. And yet, even the dream of a Jungkook duet doesn't seem so far-fetched anymore. Why? Because when you look at their history, those late-night V-Lives, the shared songwriting sessions, their performance of We Don't Talk Anymore, that still lives rent-free in millions of minds. You know they understand each other musically like few others do. They don't need choreography to be in sync. They don't need lyrics to communicate. They don't even need words. And maybe that's what makes this dinner so significant. IT was a quiet nod between two artists, two brothers, two souls who've walked through fire together, both in the spotlight and outside of it, because whether they left the restaurant with a demo in their pockets or just a little more peace in their hearts, one thing is clear. The silence is cracking, and in that crack, light is starting to pour through. Light that sounds like harmony. Light that smells like healing. Light that tastes like home. Now, ARMY waits again. Not with the desperation of the past few months, but with cautious, hope-filled breath. Because when Jimin and Jungkook sit down together, especially now, it's never just dinner. It's the prologue, the prelude, the part before the curtain lifts. And whether we get a song next month, next year, or never, this photo was the beginning of something. Even if that something is just the reassurance that they're still finding their way back, together. And in the hours that followed, that now iconic image, two shadows beneath soft restaurant lighting, the echo of something unspoken but deeply familiar. ARMY didn't move on. They zoomed in, not just on the faces, the body language, the dishes on the table, but on the feeling it ignited. Because something about that dinner, quiet and seemingly ordinary, has set off a wave of emotional aftershocks across the fandom that no performance, teaser, or chart-topping comeback could ever duplicate. This wasn't planned fan service. This wasn't Weverse marketing. This was real, and the world noticed. Within 24 hours, the hashtags #Jungkook reunion, #Jungkook duet, and they're back together trended globally in multiple languages. Korean media outlets began cautiously covering the incident, labeling it a private moment of reconciliation, while Western blogs and pop culture forums scrambled to ask, is BTS preparing something under the radar? Could this be the long-awaited subunit project fans have demanded for years? Because suddenly, the idea of a Jungkook duet, once a fan fantasy, feels possible, and not just possible. Inevitable. Music insiders have quietly confirmed that HYB has been holding off on announcing a major vocal-focused subunit for 2025, with rumors of an emotional vocal ballad recorded pre-enlistment that was shelved due to timing. But the timing has changed, the silence has changed, they have changed, and now, the pieces are falling into place. The rumored unreleased track from early 2023 with only J initials attached, the quiet activity spike on Jungkook and Jimin's private SoundCloud backups. Yes, fans track those too. The fact that neither has posted anything, as if holding their breath or waiting for something bigger. But here's the twist fans didn't expect. The restaurant owner allegedly spoke. In a now-deleted comment screenshot by a fan, the owner posted, "They reserved the table 2 days earlier. Very polite. Said they were celebrating something, but didn't tell me what. Celebrating, not discharging. That happened days ago, not a comeback. Nothing's been announced. So what were they celebrating? A reunion, a reconciliation? Or the final decision to stop letting the world dictate the distance between them? Suddenly, it isn't just about whether a duet is coming. It's about why it might be. Because maybe this isn't just about fan demand. Maybe it isn't just about music. Maybe it's about restoring something broken, a rhythm lost somewhere between enlistment, media pressure, and emotional exhaustion. And what better way to do that than with the very thing that connected them before the fame? A song, a harmony, a moment shared. And if that's what's brewing behind the scenes, then we're not just witnessing a musical comeback. We're witnessing a human one, a return not just to the stage, but to each other. And maybe, when the day comes that the official teaser finally drops, just 2 initials on a black screen, soft piano, and a heartbeat thudding low, ARMY won't scream. They'll cry. Because they'll know this wasn't hype. IT wasn't a marketing machine. IT was the result of 1,000 quiet moments that brought 2 souls back into orbit. Starting with a simple dinner, a small table, with no cameras until one slipped through, and now we wait again. Not for answers, not for PR statements, but for the music, because the truth is, whether that duet drops tomorrow, next week, or never, this single moment, this quiet meal, this candid photo, has already sung the first note, and somehow, it was louder than anything else in the world.